Antonio Brown, the childish ego with a side of whiny tantrums. Welcome back to the SkyLounge, boys and girls, and this is Overanalysis Paralysis. As the name suggests, I'm going to be overanalyzing this shit right here. Just a funny preface and side note here. I'm not an athlete, all right? I'm a 6'5", 260-pound fat fuck who occasionally goes to the gym, and I don't boast my athletic prowess or any of that bullshit, but I try to be a man of logic. I try to be a man of reason. And, you know, the funny part, too, is I recorded the Cruise Peruse, which is out on the channel right now, and bitched about Antonio Brown and his whole bullshit for 5 to 10 good minutes. And sure enough, as soon as I get to the gym, and as soon as I get done recording, and I couldn't upload it at the gym because of the fucking speed, we get news, breaking news reported by Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter, the two guys who are just meticulous with the details on this whole situation, reportedly saying Antonio Brown is going to be potentially suspended. From the words of GM Mike Mayock. And, okay, Raiders fans, I know if any of you Raiders fans have clicked onto this shit, I know it hurts, but God, we got to talk about this. Let's go through AB's Raiders career. And mind you, I wrote this kind of off the top of my head, and, the details might be screwy. And so I would always say this, boys and girls. If I miss some details, please look it up. Tell me if I'm wrong, please, because I'd rather be right than wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong, and I'll, change up my shit. But here we go. AB enter training camp in a hot air balloon. AB got frostbitten feet due to issues with cryotherapy. He threatened to retire because he couldn't use his old helmet after all the whining and bitching. He got a sponsorship. I think it was Gideon, whatever the fuck company that he got sponsored for. Got one there. And I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago, Mike Mayock, GM of the Oakland Raiders, soon to be the Las Vegas Raiders, fined Antonio Brown upwards of $50,000 in fine because of mispractices. Obviously upset, Antonio Brown goes to social media, posts this up, and says something along the lines of, "They hate me." And word gets out, via guys like Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, that Antonio Brown will be suspended because of detrimental actions to the team. And here's a process that I believe I've read, and as far as I know, this is the process that they're going to do. AB can potentially be suspended, for whatever period of time, which would forego his $30 million, guaranteed money of $30 million, and which would mean they cut him. If they keep him around, I believe they have to pay him upwards of $14 million this season because of the veteran contract. But if they suspend him, they forego that $30 million, they would have to cut him. As far as I know, that's how I understood the stipulations to his contract. But again, I could be wrong, boys and girls. So please, if I am wrong, let me know. And of course, more details of this will be coming out within the next 24 hours or 24 to 48 more hours, right? But to me, I've been saying this for a long time. Especially to you Raiders fans. Why the fuck did you pick him up? You knew the kind of cantankerous, cancerous behavior he was bringing to your team. You knew. You absolutely knew. If you're John Gruden, you knew. And this, to me, just seems like another case of a cancer who has talent and has absolutely no self-awareness. And the funny thing is, like I prefaced, I'm not an athlete. Okay, I'm not an athlete. I'm not better than these people. But at the end of the day, these are human beings, right? And we've all experienced within a social setting how to interact with human beings, human beings' behavior in social settings and shit like that. And to me, I've seen people like AB. I've seen people like AB in the workplace. And to be fair, I've kind of been an AB in my workplace, my former workplace. I'm willing to admit that. I was that guy. Not to the extent of AB, I'm gonna get a fish fight with my GM. Not that fucking idiot. But basically along the lines of, I'm not part of the team. I'm better than everybody. And get the fuck out of my way. I'm not trying to be confrontational, but you get in my way, we're gonna have problems. That's how I pretty much handled my shit. And you see other people, work cancers like that, right? You see those people that everything's about them. If it's not their way, it's everyone's wrong. They get grumpy, mood swings, and empty threats. Absolutely empty threats based on manipulation, right? And we see that so many times, and a lot of people will just turn a blind eye to this. A lot of people do. A lot of people just say, oh, he's just a football player. Or some people would, go as far as to say, oh, this is CTE, all this shit. But to me, this is just a guy with an immense amount of talent and absolutely no self-awareness. Absolutely no self-awareness, no real idea of what it means to be part of a team. Because I'm assuming, this is all my assumption, I'm assuming coming up, he was told that he was great. And really the Steelers helped kind of fuel that flame of ego. And that ego turned out to be a monster just waiting to awaken. And the Steelers absolutely opened that door. And now the Raiders are, for the stupidest reason, re-realizing, I guess, that this guy's a cancer, which is insane to me. It seems insane to me. Then I thought of this. I still hold to the fact that Antonio Brown is a cancer. I would have never taken him in my team, despite the talent. Never, ever, ever. But what if? Hear me out. What if this was the plan all along by Mike Mayock? What if this was the plan all along by John Gruden? Yes, throwing away, a second and fifth round pick. Is that what they had to give up for AB to trade with the Steelers? You gave up a bit, but you also have one or two first round picks, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Because of the Khalil Mack trade? You have now looked beyond the season and thought, okay, we'll settle with the 2020 draft in Las Vegas, where we're going to be at our new home, and maybe a culture shift. I'm not sure about the contract with Richie Incognito and Vontaze Burfict, two other cancers I believe will never even benefit the team and only cause problems on and off the field because they have a proven track record. They have absolutely a proven track record. And to me, it's going to be Mayock and Gruden feigning, injury pretty much, within their souls. Like, oh, we didn't do this. We're not culpable of this. But I think there's a part of me that really thinks that Mike Mayock and John Gruden are really pushing this. They're pushing this. So that way they can tank this entire season and get the draft picks that they want within favorable draft positions, right? And of course, some of those picks, they have to amount to something, right? I believe the Bears, their trade, their pick is kind of predicated on that pick. So it's going to be interesting. But to me, it seems a little bit curious that all of this is happening right before the season. And again, when you got, quote unquote, your best offensive weapon in the offseason via trade, and now he is just proven to you that he is a cancer step by step by step, and you probably won't see him in the regular season. This is a tank season. And if that was the intention, Mike Mayock and John Gruden, you did it. You did it. You're going to tank, and you're probably going to get the picks you want. So, to me, AB is not the only guy that does this. Of course he's not. Every human being that has this kind of level of ego and can exhibit that level of tantrum, they're not going to fit in an organization. I know the Steelers for a long time wanted to cultivate that culture of, everyone's special, you could just do whatever you want. But what I'm seeing from Mike Mayock, I have to praise him for that a little bit and say, you know what, man, you put your foot down, nut it up, and suspended the guy for being an absolute cancer. And long may the Antonio Brown drama saga continue, because it has given me just a hilarious amount of content to just record and post up. But that's your overanalysis paralysis, boys and girls. That's my whole thought. I think really Mike Mayock may be playing three-dimensional chess. Who the fuck knows? But AB, you're a fucking cancer. So, boys and girls, follow me at the Sky Lounge and all the links in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe for more daily contents.